Bonjour tout le monde. Hi everyone. Welcome to the first virtual media day at the 2025 CFL Winter Meetings. Bienvenue à cette première série d'entrevues virtuelles lors des réunions hivernales 2025 de la LCF. Je suis Guillaume, gestionnaire principal des communications et des affaires publiques de la LCF. Je vais être votre hôte et modérateur pour l'événement d'aujourd'hui. I'm Guillaume, also known as GT, Senior Manager of Communications and Public Affairs at the CFL, and I'll be your host and moderator for today's event. To ask a question, please use the raise hand function to be added to the queue. Pour poser une question, veuillez utiliser la fonction lever la main pour être ajouté à la file d'attente. Je vous demanderai aussi de couper votre micro jusqu'à temps que je vous donne la parole pour poser votre question. Also, please mute your microphone until I indicate it is your turn to ask a question. And that being said, we'll now directly proceed with our Q&A. Nous allons donc procéder directement à la période de questions. Pour lancer le bal aujourd'hui, accueillons l'entraîneur-chef des Alouettes de Montréal, Jason Maas. To start things off today, let's welcome the head coach of the Montreal Alouettes, Jason Maas.
Salut, GT.
Hi. The first question is from Herb Zukowski. Herb, please go ahead.
Hi there. Hopefully I've unmuted myself. You can hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Great. You don't look very happy to hear from me, Jason.
I just can't believe you're the first one.
Well, come on. There's something to be said about respect.
You're not first, you're last, I guess.
Exactly. Happy New Year. It's nice to see you.
You as well.
So, since we've last seen you, the quarterback situation obviously has been clarified. You don't have Cody Fajardo. You're basically going to sink or swim with Davis. So just what are your thoughts now, a couple of months later, knowing that this is being based on a limited window, although of course you would say, well, we've seen the guy and we've developed him for 3 years. But yeah, I'm sorry to be so long-winded. Just your thoughts about where we stand now.
Yeah, I think the Montreal Alouettes are in a great situation with the quarterback position. I think Davis Alexander has proven himself with the limited exposure he's had to be a very capable quarterback, a winning quarterback for us. We've watched the standard that Cody played with and prepared with, that Davis has followed right along suit with that. You say it that, yeah, we know him longer than 5 games. Well, that's part of it. You got to, in order to have a franchise quarterback, you got to see what he's like in the building, the leadership qualities that he has, the competitiveness that he has, the preparedness that he has, that he displays, and make sure that that's growing and getting better each year. And that's what Davis has shown to us. So I think he's ready for the next step. We also added, Bethel McLeod to the situation, and I think that's going to make us a better football team. It's going to give that veteran leadership, a guy that's won a Grey Cup behind him, and obviously we got depth there too with Caleb and James coming back. So we've got a very competitive quarterback room. I think the Montreal Alouettes in a great position there.
Would you not feel better knowing that you had the 1-2 tandem of Alexander and Fajardo? Of course, Bethel Thompson, as of today, is still unsigned, and he's 4 years older than Fajardo.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at the situation, obviously not having Cody in the room and being with Cody as long as I have, I mean, he's the most familiar with our system. He's played the most. He's won a Grey Cup with us, but that obviously wasn't in the card. So I don't think there's any looking back. We will get something done with MBT, and that's a priority, I know, for our organization to make sure that happens. And when it does, I mean, I know we're going to be in great hands. So, you look at age for a quarterback. When I watched him play last year, yeah, he ain't slowing down. He's not considered a running guy, but he can actually move his feet very well, much like I would say like a Tom Brady late in his career. A guy that knows the pocket very well, still has the arm strength and makes good decisions and things like that. So I know even though he's a little bit older, he's still very capable of winning games for you. And, in the meantime, we've got a guy that can help mentor, Davis and be there for support, when that's needed, and then be able to step in when that's needed as well. So again, I love our quarterback room. I love all 4 of the guys that we're bringing in and have. And I know we're going to, that position, which is always a strength, needs to be a strength of your football team. I know that's what it is for us.
Great. Thank you again.
No problem.
Thank you, Herb. La prochaine question, the next question is from Éric Leblanc de RDS. Éric, s'il te plaît.
Hello, Coach. Nice to see you. Thanks for doing this today.
No problem.
Just talking about Davis taking the number one position, how different is it for you as a coach to prepare your team without a veteran quarterback as a starter?
It's because Davis has been in our system as long as he has. There's going to be no difference. I mean, I know he's only a five-game starter or four-game starter, whatever it is. He's played limited exposure to games. The fact that he's been around our system for 2 years, he knows what it's like to prepare. When we have our starter prepare for a week, he does every single read in the build in our quarterback room. He's the one that controls the receiver quarterback meetings. He goes out, takes every rep at practice. Well, Davis has a lot of experience of doing that, and he's also watched one of the best guys I've been around prepare to play, and that's Cody. And so I know he's going to be, as much as people are looking at the inexperience, I don't look at it as the inexperience. We're going to start from the ground running with our offense. Our offense is going to hit hyper speed with Davis because there's no learning curve to our offense. It's just applying it in game situations that he needs to do more of. But there's not one concept that we're going to run in camp that Davis hasn't ran in either in a high pressure situation in practice. We try to make all of our practices game-like as possible. Preseason game, regular season game. I can't envision a concept we're starting with in training camp that he hasn't ran. So there is going to be no point where we're worried about the limited experience Davis has. We're actually going the opposite direction, saying, hey, we know what you can do, and we're going to try to have the guys surround him, which just about everybody on our offense is coming back. So, we've got quite a few veteran guys or guys experienced in our offense with Davis playing that are familiar with him. And I just think that's a huge positive for us offensively.
And just one more for me during the off season. I was curious to know, what have you been doing to get better as a coach? I'm pretty sure you were not, hugging your trophy for days. What have you done this off season?
Well, I think the first thing you do with anything, I mean, when you put as much effort as our coaches do in the CFL, you need to take some time off. And so I don't see my family very often. So in order for me to do the job to the best of my ability, I need time spent away from football with my family. They sacrifice a lot when I'm gone. When I'm not there, and my wife's taking care of everything in the household. So I try to be a father and a husband for a while, till the point where I'm ready and excited to get back to work. And that's where I'm at now. So I've begun the process of, looking at our all of our stuff on offense, our breakdowns, our cut ups to identify our strengths, our weaknesses, and then looking outside of that, what are the teams outside of what we do in our league that did very well? Why did they do those things well? Teams down south with different concepts that have been very good, great offenses in the leagues down there, trying to identify some of those concepts that we can carry over to the CFL. And then obviously staying connected with our team. That's a big thing to me, and calling guys more, texting guys more. We're starting our meetings with our staff now in January, because the same as I like to have time off, I want our staff to enjoy their families as well. So that's an important aspect to coaching in Montreal. To be a part of our organization, you need to have some time away. But now it's full go ahead, and the connection is happening once again. And again, I'm happy for that, because we got a lot of familiar faces coming back. But the new guys that are coming in the building, we need to connect fast so we can hit the ground running again.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Merci, Eric. The next question is from Justin Dunk. Please go ahead, Justin.
Thanks for doing this, Coach. I'm curious if you had conversations with Cody Fajardo about staying there to be the backup. And I say that because of the relationship that you two have and his familiarity with the offense too.
Yeah, I mean, he and I discussed when we kind of knew the cards that were being played and how they were being dealt, and which direction we were going to go with Davis. Cody and I did have a conversation about, what's next. Obviously it wasn't too long after that, the trade happens, but he and I did discuss if there's nothing there, and I don't want him burning a bridge. He wasn't burning a bridge with me. And as long as we weren't going to burn that bridge with him, if he were to have come back as the backup, would he have been comfortable? We never quite got into how comfortable or anything like that. But I definitely love Cody. I have so much respect for him. And I think anytime he's a part of an organization, they're better for it. So in any capacity, you can have a Cody Fajardo on your team. You're going to look for it. It just wasn't in the cards for us. So, obviously with the trade, Bethel coming in now, we've got a bona fide veteran starter, a guy who started before, and to add to our already strong quarterback room with Caleb and James and Davis. So
The way that you're talking about McLeod almost seems like he's signed. Is that close?
well, that's I'll just say that's I know that's going to get done. I just the conversations I've had with McLeod, I think he's all about what we are. He's he's a team guy. He loves culture. Winning is a byproduct of that. I mean, everybody later in their career wants to win. You want to win every year, but I think we do things the right way and things that are on board with how he thinks. I've definitely respected him and made that very clear to him how much we respect him. That's part of the reason the trade happened, so that we could have the opportunity to speak with him and talk to him and sell him on Montreal. But yeah, I would think that's going to get done sooner rather than later.
Do you anticipate Sean Lemon being reinstated by the CFL for 2025?
Well, I don't know how to answer that exactly. I mean, you asked, do I assume he will get reinstated? I mean, I would hope so, or think that might happen, but that's that's out of my hands. And until that reinstatement does happen, obviously, that's a tough subject to even encounter, Justin.
If that does happen, would he be an Alouette?
Well, I think there's a possibility. I mean, I know Danny and I always look at the guys that have been in our building that have done well for us and always, done the Alouette way, as we like to say, or the way we expect the expectations and things like that. And Sean's been a model player and person for us. So I don't know that there would be any limit or any hesitation if he were to be reinstated, for him to be back with us. But that's not my call. That's more Danny's. Danny makes that final decision. I know as a coaching staff, we've had a great affection for Sean and what he's capable of and able to do. So, but the first thing that has to happen is get reinstated, because without that, it's a moot point.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Thank you, Justin. Next question is from John Hodge. Please go ahead, John.
Thanks for doing this, Jason. Merci, G. Jason, could you give us a quick update on Tyson Philpott, his status?
Yeah, I mean, I think he had the last surgery he needed to correct or to pull out whatever needed to be pulled out of his foot there, and now he's on the mend, and the expectation is he's going to be ready for training camp, full go. But with these types of injuries, the way he has to rehab and the things that he has to be able to do to be the type of player he is may take a little bit more time, but I know how hard he's working, and I know the medical outlook looks very good. So, obviously just holding my breath all off season, hoping there's no setbacks, and he'll be on the field for us as fast as possible.
Can you hear me a little better now, by the way?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. My other question is, you have a lot of confidence in Davis Alexander, clearly. As someone who played quarterback in this league for a long time, as coach quarterback, what advice would you give to a young quarterback breaking into the CFL as to how they can achieve success?
Well, I think just the first thing you have to do, you have to be fully committed in this league. I mean, when you're new to this league, every waking minute you spend up here better be spent on football. I mean, the 4.5 hour day does not apply to a quarterback. And so being around a vet helps, picking the brain of the coaches, but just absorbing football and loving football is the first thing they have to have. They have to have the passion for it. And then they just have to be tough-minded. I mean, you look at the things I think that a quarterback needs to be successful up here is smart, accurate, and tough. And tough is probably the most important thing, because it's difficult to break in up here. The game's different. The 3 down puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback with decision-making, as it's a new game for them. So, they just got to be tough-minded and stick to it. And when they have a little setback, they can't get discouraged. So, but preparation helps that. So, continuing to be in the room and picking the brains of guys and being fully committed helps your preparation and helps you not be as nervous about when you get your opportunity. Then you just got to make the most of it because there's limited training camp, there's limited time in the off season spent, little to no time in the off season spent, and so everything's make or break in training camp. And then you've got to be able to play well in those preseason games just to get your first crack. And then after that, you've got to make the roster and then do the right things until you get another opportunity. And then when you do that, you got to play well. But being prepared is the first thing. So being passionate, smart, accurate, and tough are good attributes to have, and being fully committed to it. That's what a professional does.
Thank you.
No problem.
Merci, John. La prochaine question est de Frédéric Daigle. Vas-y, Frédéric. Fred, on ne t'entend pas.
If someone's speaking, I can't hear them.
No, I think Frédéric has unexpected issues. So we'll jump to next question, which would be Candid Frank Stanici. Frank, please go ahead.
I'm unmuted my mic. Jason, good to see you. I hope you had a good off season and you're ready and raring to go.
Absolutely.
We all love this part of the year, right? All the hopes are there for everyone. Nobody's lost yet, and the future's bright. I just want to reflect on your experience. You've had an interesting first couple of years with the Alouettes. You went from underdog to champion to now this year's the team that you want to bring to reclaim that championship. Speak to that experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite the ride, to be honest with you, to being hired, to kind of losing an ownership group to the league, and then getting bought, and new president. The familiarity with Danny was very helpful in that, and then taking a team, like you said, that had just honestly was a play away from going to a Grey Cup when I got there, to being picked ninth, because of all the trials and tribulations of the offseason, and nobody wanted to re-sign back, and the chip on the shoulders that everybody that we did sign have because of it, to figuring it out after a 6-7 start and finish the season the way we did in 23, to what I was proud when I got the coach of the year. I was very proud of that, because that was, to me, a reflection of what the year was for us. To start from the moment the Grey Cup ended and to keep that ride going throughout an off season, to go through all of a training camp and fight like hell through a season and come out on top in the regular season, which is what we did. That takes a lot of work from a lot of people. That's an organization award. And I love our organization because we're all connected and we all understand the importance of each other and how important it is for each one to do the job asked of them, but to do it with the thought of the person next to them, not themselves. So we have an organization that's built on that, and that's what I've been so proud of and so excited about getting back to, that connection I talked about earlier, connecting with the new guys on our team, the new people that are going to be around us, to keep this going, because it is now a new challenge. We have a lot of familiar faces that just felt the last loss stung really hard, and now you want to go back and get it back. And but that's a day at a time task. That is not look ahead and hope. That's a work every single day to get it back. And I think that's what we're built on. We're built on hard work and that kind of work ethic and that togetherness. So I think our guys are excited about that. I'm excited about it. And you're right. No one's lost yet. The schedule's just going to come out. So we're going to get our direction here shortly and how we're going to do this. But I think we're all excited about getting ready to reclaim.
Good luck on the season.
Thank you
for doing this.
Yep.
Thank you, Frank. So we now have 4 questions lined up. Those are going to be the last 4 questions. We're going to try again with Frédéric de la Presse Canadienne. Frédéric? Non, on n'a toujours pas de son, Fred. Je suis désolé. On va continuer avec Félix Galli. Vas-y, Félix.
Hi, Coach.
Hey.
I want to talk about the kicker situation. So Jose Maltas had a really good year last year, and it was extended right after the season. Last week, I think some people were surprised when it was announced that Cote's contract was also extended. Can you tell me why the organization just decided to bring both players back for 2025?
Well, I'll tell you this. Last year in training camp, we had a great competition between Jose and David ended up winning the competition, and it was very close, razor thin. And obviously, the incumbents, if he's just as good, you're going to go with it because there's familiarity there, and he's kicked in big games and Grey Cups and playoffs. Jose at that point hadn't done that. And even though he'd done extremely well in the games, but he had proved his mettle through training camp, through a good competition. Well, you need a great kicker in this league. I mean, and both our kickers did that last year. When David started out the year, he was very solid for us and had a great training camp and a great season to start. Then unfortunately got injured, and Jose came in, and obviously history was made there. I mean, he did his job and did it at an extremely high level. That's why he was warranted the extension. And it's going to be his job to lose in training camp. But we wanted another guy to push him and challenge him. And I don't think there's a better person that gets what we are as an organization from Quebec that we think is very important to us, that's done it for us at a high level. And unfortunately, David's got hurt the last couple of years, and been fortunate for us, we've had Jose that's able to step in. But having David have the want to come back to compete was important. And the fact that they have such a good relationship, that they support each other, and that's also imperative in our locker room, because we have a great locker room. We don't ever want any rifts there. We want a lot of competition, but no rifts. And I think they're great teammates and they support one another. So they're going to have another great competition in camp. And then the best guy is going to win the job. And that's what our whole team's built on. Everybody knows, hey, you go to camp, there's no job secured. You got to win your job in camp, and we want great competition to do that. And I don't think there's a better guy than David to do that for us. And we're going to be in a very good position with both of them there. And the guy that starts the season for us, we're excited about.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Merci, Félix. La prochaine question est de Philippe Asselin. Vas-y, Philippe.
Hi, Coach. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you.
With the free agency that's coming and the draft, I just want to know, what is Jason Maas' wish list for that period of the year?
Honestly, that's for Danny, and we're obviously discussing the way free agency is going to look. I don't know that we're going to be big players in free agency. I think we've done a very good job. Danny's done a great job of solidifying our roster up to this point. And, I'm very partial to the guys we've had in our room, the guys we played with and won with. I told them all at the end of the year, if we could have you all back, I'd prefer that and run it all over again. I know that's not always going to be the case, and it's obviously turned out not to be the case for some positions already. But whatever we decide to, what direction we decide to go in free agency, that'll be something Danny and I continue to discuss. Is there a huge need right now? I don't know that there is, to be honest with you. So, but that could change over the next few weeks. And then draft, we want great players, and I know we have four draft picks, and I think the first 35 picks, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that, that I know that our draft picks have helped our team win. And so, we want just quality players that want to be in Montreal and want to compete. So I don't know that there's necessarily a wish list. There's those types of attributes that we're looking for. And I'm excited about watching these players in the upcoming months to get ready for the draft, to make sure we're picking the right guys.
Merci, Philippe. Last question. Could we say best for last, even if you started the whole thing? Herb, please go ahead.
First and last, baby. Don't ever forget it. What's happening, Jason, with your coaches? There's been no announcements. Are they all coming back? Is somebody not coming back? Could you please clarify that?
Yeah, I mean, when we announce it, you'll have more clarity on it, Herb. I mean, obviously that right now there's, the majority of them, obviously they're all, I'll say there's the possibility of change. That's all I'll say for now. But, when we decide to announce that, Herb, you'll be the first to know. How about that?
I won't be the first to know. I can promise you that, considering who releases the information. Are you suggesting that there could be an opening on your staff for me?
Well, for you, we may make room. How about that? Even if there's no changes. I know we have a salary cap for our coaches, so you may have to work for very little money. But if you're willing to do that, there might be that opportunity.
I'm after Machoch's job anyways. Don't worry.